Okay, yeah, here we go. I tried to go live a couple seconds ago. I don't know. I guess I had a issue with the internet. So the last time I had just stopped at, yet ever as they listened, they came to understand and increase in unison and harmony. So I'm here in the section of the music of Ainur. And so that's what I'm reading right now. And actually, before I jump in, just to touch base a little bit. So I'm currently working on one video that I don't know. I guess I want to try to maybe get it out tomorrow. I'm just kind of locked in a little bit of perfectionism. And then I have another one. Not sure what the ETA on that one would be. And I think, what else do I really want to say now that I'm doing this? I think that I still have that video that I had promised to put out a long time ago, and I still haven't been able to really fix the sound thing up until now. But I'll fix it as soon as I can. I'm not really sure on the ETA on that, so I don't want to make up any stories from now. So let me go ahead and I'll just read a little bit. And it came to pass that Iluvatar called together all the Ainur and declared to them a mighty theme, unfolding to them things greater and more wonderful than he had yet revealed. And the glory of its beginning and the splendor of its end amazed the Ainur, so that they bowed before Iluvatar and were silent. Then Iluvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music. And since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, ye shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if he will. But I will sit and hearken and be glad that you, great beauty, has been wakened into song." Then the voices of the Ainur, like unto harps and lutes and pipes and trumpets and viols and organs, and like unto countless choirs singing with words, began to fashion the theme of Iluvatar to a great music, and a sound arose of endless interchanging melodies, woven in harmony, that passed beyond hearing into the depths and into the heights, and the places of the dwelling of Iluvatar were filled to overflowing. And the music and the echo of the music went out into the void, and it was not void. Never since have the Ainur made any music like to this music, though it has been said that a greater still shall be made before Iluvatar by the choirs of the Ainur and the children of Iluvatar after the end of days. Then the themes of Iluvatar shall be played aright and take being in the moment of their utterance. For all shall then understand fully his intent in their part, and each shall know the comprehension of each, and Iluvatar shall give to their thoughts the secret fire of being well pleased. Just going to take a little bit of water. Being well pleased. But now Iluvatar sat and hearkened, and for a great while it seemed good to him, for in the music there were no flaws. But as the theme progressed, it came into the heart of Melkor to interweave matters of his own imagining that were not in accord with the theme of Iluvatar, for he sought therein to increase the power and glory of the part assigned to himself. To Melkor among the Ainur had been given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge, and he had a share in all the gifts of his brethren. He had gone often alone into the void places seeking the imperishable flame, for his desire grew hot within him to bring into being things of his own. And it seemed to him that Iluvatar took no thought for the void, and he was impatient of its emptiness. Yet he found not the fire, for it is with Iluvatar. But being alone, he had begun to conceive thoughts of his own, unlike those of his brethren. So just a quick note, one of the, so we mentioned Melkor, and actually one of the videos that I'm working on is a little bit about like Melkor, and it's just going to be a little bit of like an introduction kind of thing, but I just wanted to stop because that's one of the key ones that I'm working on. The other one, I'm doing something else on Galadriel, and so let me read a little bit more. Some of these thoughts he now wove into his music, and straightway discord arose about him, and many that sang nigh him grew despondent, and their thought was disturbed, and their music faltered. But some began to attune their music to his rather than to the thought which they had at first. Then the discord of Melkor spread ever wider, and the melodies which had been heard before foundered in a sea of turbulent sound. But Iluvatar sat and hearkened until it seemed that about his throne there was a raging storm, as of dark waters that were made war one upon another, in an endless wrath that would not be assuaged. It's almost like a war in the heavens. Then Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that he smiled, and he lifted up his left hand, and a new theme began amid the storm, like and yet unlike to the former theme, and it gathered power and had new beauty. Yeah, it's like dueling musicians. But the discord of Melkor rose in uproar and contended with it, and again there was a war of sound more violent than before, until many of the Ainur were dismayed and sang no longer, and Melkor had the mastery, and Melkor won the battle. In quotation marks, of course. Then again Iluvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that his countenance was stern, and he lifted up his right hand, and behold, the third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others, for it seemed at first soft and sweet, a mere rippling of gentle sounds and delicate melodies, but it could not be quenched, and it took to itself power and profundity. And it seemed at last that there were two musics progressing at one time before the seat of Iluvatar, and they were utterly at variance. The one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow and blended with an immeasurable sorrow, from which its beauty chiefly came. The other had now achieved a unity of its own, but it was loud and vain and endlessly repeated, and had little harmony, but rather a clamorous unison of as many trumpets braying upon a few notes. And it essayed to drown the other music by violence of its voice, but it seemed that its most triumphant notes were taken by the other and woven into its own solemn pattern. In the midst of the strife whereat the halls of Iluvatar shook, and a tremor ran out into the silences yet unmoved, Iluvatar arose a third time, and his face was terrible to behold. Then he raised up both his hands, and in one chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iluvatar, the music ceased. Then Iluvatar spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor. But that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Iluvatar, those things that ye have sung I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shall see that no theme may be played that has not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined." Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them. I mean, the words are pretty clear that Iluvatar is the God. That's basically what he said. Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them. I mean, he said, I am the power, basically. And all the Ainur that I am Iluvatar, these things, I'm sorry, I'm getting lost there. And Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger. So I'm going to read it again because I did my ad-libbing. Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them. And Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger, with jealousy, anger. Sounds exactly like Lucifer, or comparable, like a spinoff. And, excuse me. And thou, Melkor, which so came anger, yeah. But Iluvatar arose in splendor, and he went forth from the fair regions that he had made for the Ainur, and the Ainur followed him. But when they were come into the void, Iluvatar said to them, behold your music. And he showed to them a vision, giving to them sight, where before was only hearing. And they saw a new world made visible before them. And it was globed amid the void, and it was sustained therein, but was not of it. And as they looked and wondered, this world began to unfold its history. And it seemed to them that it lived and grew. And when the Ainur had gazed for a while and were silent, were silent, had gazed for a while and were silent, Iluvatar said again, behold your music. This is your minstrelsy, and each of you shall find contained herein, amid the design that I set before you, all those things which it may seem, oh, there it goes, went out. It may seem that he himself devised or added, and thou, Melkor, wilt discover all the secret thoughts of thy mind, and wilt perceive that they are but a part of the whole and tributary to its glory. And many other things Iluvatar spoke to the Ainur at that time. And because of their memory of his words and the knowledge that each has of the music that he himself made, the Ainur know much of what was and is to come, and few things are unseen by them. Yet some things there are that they cannot see, neither alone nor taking counsel together. For to none but himself has Iluvatar revealed all that he has in store. And in every age there come forth things that are new and have no foretelling, for they do not proceed from the past. And so it was that this vision of the world was played before them. The Ainur saw that it contained things which they had not thought. And they saw with amazement that the coming of the children of Iluvatar, and the habitation that was prepared for them. And they perceived that they themselves in the labor of their music let's see. The labor of the music had been busy with the preparation of this dwelling, and yet knew not that it had any purpose beyond its own beauty. For the children of Iluvatar were conceived by him alone, and they came with the third theme, and were not in the theme which Iluvatar propounded at the beginning, and none of the Ainur had part in their making. Therefore, when they beheld them, the more did they love them, being things other than themselves, strange and free, wherein they saw the mind of Iluvatar reflected anew, and learned yet a little bit more of his wisdom, which otherwise had been hidden even from the Ainur. So I'm going to go ahead and stop, and I'm going to get back to editing this video. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'm out.